wait a minute.
Chris, I am going to stand up, walk out of this room, and we will never speak of this again.
Here are 10 episodes that show the worst things Lois Griffin has done. Coming in at number 10 is an episode that has us all questioning, is Meg even part of the family? You know it's bad when even the Griffin family seems to forget she exists half the time. We're talking about the iconic Family Guy episode, Go Stewie Go. So we kick things off with Meg, yes Meg, actually landing a boyfriend. I know, right? A boyfriend. And this one's got two legs too. I mean, seriously? Did she summon a genie, or did she just binge watch The Bachelor for dating tips?
Come on, I'll take you home.
Okay, babe.
He ain't got no legs.
Classic Peter, right? Sherlock Holmes wishes he had observation skills like that. Anyway, fast forward, and we see Meg and her boyfriend chilling on the couch. But in true Peter fashion, he treats it exactly like you'd expect. And pretty soon, all of Quahog wants in on the action. The whole town shows up, and after an examination by Dr. Hartman, we get the shocking revelation, drum rolls please, he's perfectly normal. Could have fooled us, right? And just when you think it couldn't get any weirder, Peter drops a line that could send him straight to jail, or at least get him canceled on Twitter.
I can honestly say for the first time that I am attracted to our daughter. This must be what other fathers feel like.
Good Lord.
I mean, seriously, do they not have an FBI in the Family Guy universe? Somebody needs to get on that. After the town is done with their probing, Peter and Lois decide to give Meg and her boyfriend some alone time because, sure, that's a great idea. But not before Peter sneaks in one last comment that could put him behind bars.
Who doesn't want some time alone with Meg these days? Right, Meg?
Yeah, Peter, so not creepy at all. Then just when you think things couldn't get any worse, Anthony, Meg's boyfriend, compliments Lois saying she looks like a movie star. And Peter, being Peter, keeps the insults rolling. When Peter and Lois finally head off to bed, Lois walks in on the couple smooching, and instead of turning away like a normal human being, does something that would make even Regina George go, wow, that's just wrong.
I bet you taste like Mountain Dew and Starburst.
Lois, sweetie, what are you doing? Then, because this situation wasn't messed up enough, Lois goes to the last person she should be talking to about this. Bonnie. Now Bonnie, wife of a paraplegic, is definitely not the one to give marriage advice in this scenario. Lois, bless her heart, reveals that she has feelings for Anthony. And Bonnie? Oh, she casually admits to having affairs with, like, a bunch of guys. Not exactly the same thing, Bonnie. Later we see Lois sending Meg on an errand so she can have Anthony all to herself. And this is right after she hands him Peter's poker schedule. Has Lois not heard of this little thing called the consequences of your actions? Coming onto her daughter's boyfriend. That's gotta be a new low, even for her. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, Meg walks in on the couple smooching. Lois's defense is anything but rock solid.
Mom, I forgot my keys. Do you know where?
Rape?
Oh, Lois. When Lois tries to apologize, she tells Meg she never meant to steal Anthony, which offends Meg even more. She feels like Lois thinks she's superior, like she can have anyone she wants. And wow, does this scene go from 0 to 100 real quick.
I'll do anything. You don't know me.
Oh my God!
He hangs me from the shower rod with your old bras, and then we laugh at you.
Yes, Lois, oh my God, is the only appropriate reaction here. Meanwhile, Lois plays the victim card, blaming Peter for all of this. Wow, this woman needs some serious therapy. But then Peter, in a rare moment of self-awareness, confesses that he only acts out because he doesn't feel worthy of Lois and is afraid of losing her as he ages. Say what you want about Peter, but under all those layers of fat is a surprisingly wholesome guy. Crisis averted, and we get a happy ending. Well, except for Meg and her probably soon-to-be serial-killing boyfriend. But who's keeping track?
Peter, that's ridiculous. I love you.
Why?
Maybe I like fat guys.
Rolling in at number 9, we get a front row seat to the villainous side of Lois Griffin, who goes from doting housewife to a woman who could scare Dexter in the episode Customer of the Week. The episode kicks off with Lois starting her day, doing chores around the house. And if you know anything about the Griffin family, chores can mean literally anything, from cleaning to, well, let's just see what happens.
You wanted to have a family. You wanted this life.
My shoes are on the roof. Get them.
Fast forward, and we see the family cruising to the coffee shop, the last sanctuary for a housewife managing a family of lunatics. But even here, we can see the dark side of Lois starting to crack through. At the shop, she stumbles upon the Customer of the Week board, and let's just say giving an obsessive middle-aged woman something to obsess over was definitely not their best idea.
Riley, Mia.
Shocked that she hasn't been featured yet, Lois just can't get the thought out of her head. Or her mouth. She makes it her personal mission to let the world know she hasn't been selected. Even Stewie hears the alarm bells and he's just a baby. Or, well, kind of.
Anyway, I've never been picked, which is fine. The thing is...
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Soon it's time for the shop to choose a new customer of the week, and shocker, it's not Lois. Frustrated that her over-the-top behavior isn't getting noticed, she goes on a full-blown rant in the car. And how Stewie stays sane through this entire ride is beyond any of us.
and I can't think of one reason why they wouldn't pick me.
I can.
Oh, thanks for listening, Stewie.
I had no choice.
Same, Stewie, same. $600 and a hideous painting later, Lois misses yet another chance at the award as they give it to some new customer. And yeah, at this point we can't really blame Lois for blowing a fuse. And Peter, ever the instigator, has the perfect way to stir up trouble. A Spider-Man debate.
All right, on three, everyone say their favorite Spider-Man. All right, 1, 2, 3.
What?
Are you kidding me? There'd be no Spider-Man movies without Tobey Maguire. In fact, there'd be no superhero movies without Tobey Maguire.
No way! Garfield never got a chance.
Is Affleck the best Batman? No, but he had the best Batman body.
He'll be the first ex-Spider-Man to win an Oscar.
Just because it's an animation, people think it's not legit.
Lois, still shocked by being snubbed in her quest for caffeine glory, starts ranting about astrological signs or something equally out there. Desperate for the title, she confides in her family. Chris, bless his heart, suggests maybe she should save one of the staff's lives. And Lois's response? Total foreshadowing.
Yes. Hero. I'll be a hero, and then they'll have to make me customer of the week.
What?
Knowing one of the baristas has a peanut allergy, Lois dumps an entire can of peanuts into her car. And calling this a bad accident is a serious understatement.
Oh, God. Oh, shaving cream.
At the hospital, Lois and the family visit her victim. And when talking to the victim's mom, Lois learns they're going to check the parking lot surveillance tapes. Yikes. As one of the employees reviews the tapes, he spots Lois loading peanuts into the car. And hey, he even remembers her name. That's a win, right? Soon after, Lois, now full-fledged psycho mode, takes the poor guy hostage and gives him a dark choice.
Now, there are two ways we can go from here. You can give me your absolute trust, or I can get you hooked on heroin. Heroin's not bad. Not having heroin, that's what's bad.
Yikes. Remind me never to piss off a middle-aged white woman. Then at the guy's apartment, she meets his two roommates and naturally ends up tying them up when they get a little too suspicious.
And why is everyone acting like this is my fault? If anything, it's Kyle H's fault. I'm a good person.
Sure, Lois, keep telling yourself that. You're not spiraling into a villainous breakdown or anything. Leaving a trail of hostages in her wake, Lois somehow manages to act totally unfazed by the whole ordeal.
The customer of the week at the coffee shop. Did you ever win?
But why? Why would you bring that up? What, are you obsessed with it?
Lois goes about her life, totally nonchalant, even when the news announces that her hostages have been found. And when the police arrive to arrest her, she's just like May. After serving a 6-month sentence and still no Customer of the Week award to show for it. Wow, Lois, what a productive year. You'd think she'd have learned her lesson. But
you think?
She ends up at a different coffee shop, and wouldn't you know it, they have a Customer of the Week board too. Let's just hope Lois keeps it together this time.
Oh, look, you do a customer of the week. How cute.
And that, folks, is why this episode makes it to number 9 on our list. Watch out, Quahog, because this housewife is on the loose again. Coming in at number 8 is the episode Peter Askman, which pretty much explains everything just with the title. This is one of those episodes that makes you wonder how in the world Lois and Peter are still married. We kick things off with Peter filming Stewie's musical number, and we're quickly reminded that despite his sophisticated British accent and diabolical plans, Stewie is, in fact, a baby who does baby stuff like getting stage fright and, well, peeing himself on stage.
Oh.
Raise your hand if you can relate to that one.
Cannot relate.
Look at Stewie. What a baby.
Oh.
Mid-performance, Peter, in a classic display of his microscopic attention span, starts recording Richard Dreyfuss, who clearly does not enjoy being the target of a one-man paparazzi. Peter then records a series of messages to his future self. And let's just say, we're not sold on the whole cutting off all the fingers part. Future Peter is definitely going to have some regrets there.
Oh.
Now look at your hand. It's just a nub because I'm going to cut off all the fingers.
Give Peter an ounce of encouragement, and it's like giving a toddler a can of Red Bull. Pretty soon, our not-so-bright protagonist splurges $4,000 on a fancy camera with his $100 prize money and goes full paparazzi around Quahog. Of course, this ends exactly as you'd expect when he mistakes Ollie Williams for every black celebrity in Hollywood.
Bernie Mac, how come you died? Oprah, why are you so fat, Don Cheadle?
Fast forward to Peter needing contact lenses, a scene that had all of us rewinding to double check if Peter ever actually wore glasses. Spoiler alert, he did. Who knew? At work, Angela notices something different about Peter, and right away, we're subjected to scenes that make us want to rinse our eyes with bleach.
Oh no, I dropped my pencil.
Oh, I'll get it for you.
Yeah, this is gonna work out just fine.
Honestly, Peter, you should have just left that camera on the shelf. Back home, a stressed out Peter confides in Lois about the situation. But instead of support, she hits him with the "a woman can't harass a man" logic, because apparently all guys just love being touched by women under any circumstances. Yikes. Major yikes.
I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, guys like being touched by women. It's not harassment if you like it.
And if that wasn't enough, Meg shares her own traumatic experience. Only for Lois to brush it off. Double yikes. Can someone please hand Lois the Worst Wife and Mother of the Year award already? Back at the office, things get even weirder, with Angela making Peter do all sorts of bizarre tasks. And trust me, some of them are really, really weird.
Oh, God. I really hope there's a hungry horse back there.
We're just as relieved as you are that they didn't show what was happening on the other side of that wall.
boy.
At the Drunken Clam, Peter tells the guys that Angela wants him to come over to her house for a special project. Wink, wink. Quagmire, ever the gentleman, offers to help Peter out, and let's face it, there's no one in Quahog more qualified for this kind of job. The plan? Hide Quagmire in Peter's pants. But when Quagmire finds Angela a bit too much to handle, he bolts right out of there.
Peter, I'm not gonna do it. Deal's off. Deal's off.
Whoa. If Quagmire can't do it, you know it's bad. Feeling down, Peter gets some advice from an old-timey sexist TV character and decides to confront his boss, but things take a dark turn when he finds Angela attempting to end her life. She confesses that no man has found her attractive in a decade, so Peter, always the problem solver, decides to set her up with his friend, who is totally not just Peter in a disguise.
Good evening, sir.
I am Reginald New York Knickerbocker, millionaire.
Somehow, Peter gets his job back. Don't ask us how. Just go with it.
Well, I got my job back, Angela's happy again, and she's not gonna harass me anymore. Everything worked out perfect.
Joe, however, isn't thrilled about Peter cheating on Lois, which is rich considering Lois had zero issues with Peter getting harassed by his boss. And that's why this episode is number 8 on our list of Lois's worst moments. She outright refuses to acknowledge Peter's harassment as real. Can we get her canceled already? We all hit a quarter-life or midlife crisis at some point and do things we're not exactly proud of. But let's be honest, not many of us have thrown ourselves at a young musician while married with kids. Then again, not everyone is Lois Griffin. At number 7, we have the episode Lois Comes Out of Her Shell. It all starts when Brian reminds Lois about her upcoming birthday. And oh boy, Brian, you've really opened Pandora's box with that one. Lois launches into a full-on rant about aging and time slipping away when Peter, in true Peter fashion, does something we're all secretly grateful for.
You keep so busy with your kids, time just seems to slip away, and then you turn around one day and you...
Okay, bye. Stop making noise.
Brian suggests throwing a surprise birthday party for Lois, and of course the whole family jumps on board, because who doesn't love a party? Soon enough, everyone's gathered and ready to give Lois the surprise of a lifetime. Peter even wrote her a poem. Yes, a whole poem. Although calling it a poem is kind of a stretch. One very not safe for work poem later, where Peter does his best to remind Lois of her age, she runs away crying.
Lois!
Mom?
Please, what the hell's her problem?
Really, Peter? Really? Fast forward, and Lois returns looking like she just stepped out of a Coachella set. Brian, always the master of pointing out the obvious, says she's having a midlife crisis, and for once, he's spot on. She even gets a tattoo. Cut to a very raunchy scene that we could have done without. And we're stuck listening to something that makes everyone want to vomit.
Yeah, my hearing's a lot better, so I hear, like, suction and stuff.
After a wild montage of Lois dragging Peter through a reimagined version of her college frat girl days in her 40s, a montage that includes some very questionable activities. Lois takes her new lifestyle to the extreme by hitting up a club with Peter. At the club, she parties hard, dances provocatively, and gets drunk. Peter, initially pumped about Lois's newfound energy, starts to realize her behavior is spiraling out of control when she eventually ditches him for her new friends. Maybe she's just going through her I'm just a girl phase.
My life isn't over. It's just beginning. So if you don't want to run with the wild horses, then go back to the barn and go to bed.
While Brian is giving yet another lecture on respecting women and taking care of your wife, the news announces a Justin Bieber concert in Quahog. And wouldn't you know it, Lois is right there. Afraid he's going to lose Lois for the 100th time, Peter decides it's time to win her back, but not without taking yet another jab at Meg.
If I'm the one who made her feel this way, then I'm the one who's got to fix it. Brian, keys. Chris, beard. Meg, ugly.
Lois managed to bribe her way into Justin Bieber's dressing room, planning to do something that's probably illegal. But hey, this is Lois we're talking about. Thankfully, Peter arrives just in the nick of time, saving us from witnessing something truly horrific. And in a moment every millennial has dreamed of, Peter does what we've all secretly wanted to do for years.
Oh, man! What, you think you're not gonna get old, you little bastard?
After Peter demands that Lois come home, she refuses, citing the names Peter called her. Peter apologizes and admits he loves Lois for who she truly is. And of course, they somehow managed to sneak Conway Twitty into the episode again, because why not?
Everywhere they think you really care, but myself I can't deceive.
And so we have another classic Lois meltdown resolved by Peter's weirdly sweet, if not incredibly violent gestures of love, always redefining what it means to be a family. By now we've seen how it only takes a tiny nudge to send Lois off the deep end. She can transform into a serial killer, a junkie, or even an annoying frat girl in a matter of minutes. Case in point, the episode Prescription Heroin. All it takes is Brian getting into an accident, and suddenly Lois is hooked on prescription drugs. So Brian is somehow convinced Joe is a delivery guy, and decides it's a brilliant idea to sprint down a set of stairs. Is this really the same dog that writes novels? Anyway, he quickly realizes that sprinting down multiple flights of stairs wasn't his brightest move.
Oh my God. Oh, Brian, are you okay? Oh, crap. I can't remember if doggy arms are supposed to bend that way.
At the vet, the doctor takes one look at Brian and states the obvious. His arm is broken. Thanks, Doc. Like we couldn't tell from the mangled limb, he writes a prescription for painkillers. If there's one thing we know about the Griffins, it's that adding drugs to their household is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Fast forward, and Lois finds Brian high as a kite on his meds. And whatever's going through her head at this moment, it can't be good.
Huh, I want a whole yeah. Or maybe just a half of a half, huh?
I'm not even going to try to make sense of this scene, because it's just that bizarre. Pretty soon, Lois is on a whole new level of high. The I'll fold everything in existence level, even reality itself. Talk about breaking the fourth wall.
Hello, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson. What Lois just did isn't possible. Or is it? Let's spend an hour of Fox's money to find out.
It doesn't take long for Lois to get hooked on those painkillers. And wow, she hits rock bottom fast. So fast, in fact, that she decides to use Brian to score more prescription pills. When that brilliant plan fails, she takes it up a notch by asking minors for drugs. Yep, Lois is officially off the deep end.
Ah, how could you be so selfish?
Hey, Daddy-O's.
They don't have drugs.
Later, alligators.
But believe it or not, things are about to get even worse. Lois finds one last pill in the medicine cabinet, but manages to drop it in the one place she can't retrieve it from, the toilet. Nice going, Lois. And what does she do next? Oh, she just dunks Stewie right into the toilet to fish it out. I think it's time to call Child Protective Services now, guys.
But you know how Teacher Amy has you dive for rings? Well, this is like that, except it's a pill, and it's not okay if you don't get it.
Oh, damn you!
Come on, you just touched it!
Brian, hearing all the commotion, walks in just in time to save Stewie from becoming a human fishing rod. But Lois is too far gone. She just wants that one last pill. Brian, thinking on his feet, tricks her by saying there's one in his dog cage. As soon as Lois is inside, Brian locks her up, proving that the safest place for a drugged-up Lois is a dog cage.
Brian, I don't see it. What are you doing? Let me out of here, Brian! Help! Somebody help me!
Brian explains that he feels responsible for her current state and is determined to help her overcome her addiction. But as soon as he steps out of the room, Lois starts begging for help from the one person least likely to assist her. Yep, Stewie. And if there's ever been a moment Stewie deserved to stay silent, this is it.
Stewie? Stewie, help Mommy out and just open the latch, huh? Stewie? 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 Stewie?
Before we know it, we're in the middle of a nightmarish sequence that makes us question if we're high too. Lois wakes up in the dog cage and in a surprisingly wholesome moment realizes that Brian stuck by her side through the whole ordeal.
I did. It's kind of what dogs do.
Paw? Good dog.
Now get her pills.
Very good dog.
Lois learns a valuable lesson about the dangers of addiction. Or at least until the next episode. The Griffin family. Always one bad decision away from chaos. Next up, we have the episode Breaking Out is Hard to Do, where Lois suddenly develops a serious addiction to shoplifting. I mean, this woman can't stop shoving things in her bag. At this point, we're pretty sure there's a black hole in there, because some of the stuff she's swiping is more suited for a U-Haul than a handbag. The episode kicks off with the Griffins doing a shopping run at the mall. Lois goes a little overboard. Clever foreshadowing there.
Don't shoplift. Jail is boring. They have terrible food selection.
And realizes she doesn't have enough cash to cover the cost. So what does she do? She pretends to return a giant piece of ham, but surprise, surprise, she decides to steal it instead. Yep, an entire giant piece of ham just casually disappears into her bag.
Isn't it dirty being in her bag, though?
Ham?
Like, why would she
I thought you put that back.
steal it?
No, I put the other ham back.
Sure, Lois, we believe you. And this little stunt is just the beginning of Lois's new hobby, recreational shoplifting. At a clothing store, she's grabbing anything and everything like she's on a game show, and the clock's about to run out. Someone needs to tell this woman that there are other ways to get an adrenaline rush, maybe try skydiving.
Oh, no.
That was such a rush.
Oh, you skydiving.
I'm alive.
Later at a family dinner, Joe and Bonnie
There are
can't help
easier
but notice
ways
the
to
room
be
is stuffed
alive.
with stolen goods, including an original Matisse painting. How Lois managed to pull off that heist, we'll never know. Seriously, was there a whole Ocean's 11 subplot that got cut from this episode?
Hey, is that an original Matisse?
Hey, Bonnie, listen, why don't you stop with the questions, huh?
Good old Brian, jumping in to save the day by shutting down the interrogation. But if there's one thing we know about Lois, it's that she can't resist temptation. Pretty soon she's back at it again, and this time she's stealing auto parts. Yeah, you heard that right, auto parts. What's for, Lois? You gonna build a race car in your backyard?
Brian, what are you doing here?
I should ask you the same question. Lois, you're in an auto parts store stealing mufflers.
Somehow Brian manages to be the voice of reason for once and convinces Lois to return all the stuff she's stolen. But just as they're about to make things right, Joe, the detective with a sudden surge of brilliance, realizes that the stolen Matisse painting being reported on the news is, surprise, surprise, the one hanging in Peter's living room. Gold star for Joe for finally putting two and two together. Fast forward to court, where Lois tries to explain her kleptomania. Let's just say her defense strategy could use a little work.
Your Honor, I am so sorry for stealing all that stuff. I just couldn't control myself.
The judge, seeing it's her first offense, is willing to go easy on her. But this is Lois Griffin we're talking about. Of course, she can't let well enough alone. The judge notices his gavel is missing, and we all know exactly where it went. Lois gets sentenced to 3 years in the slammer. And honestly, maybe some time away from the family circus isn't such a bad idea. While Lois is off making new friends in prison, the Griffin household turns into the disaster zone we all expected. Peter's solution? Sit in the middle of the mess and pine for Lois to come back and clean it up. Classic.
Boy, I sure miss Lois. I wish she was here to clean up all this stuff.
To be fair, as terrible as Lois can be, she's pretty much the glue holding the Griffin family together. Without her, the house falls apart faster than Stewie's diapers when Peter's in charge.
Peter, there's so much duty in here. I can't take it anymore.
Unable to handle the chaos, Peter and the kids decide to visit Lois in prison. And in true Family Guy fashion, Peter concocts a foolproof, genius plan to break Lois out. Miraculously, don't ask us how, but it worked okay. It worked.
Not necessarily. I think I got an idea of how to smuggle you out.
Bye-bye. Take care now. Have a nice day.
Now, on the run from the law, Peter decides that wherever the van stops is their new home. And wouldn't you know it, they end up in Chinatown. Naturally, everyone has to get new jobs to blend in, and this is where Lois's questionable parenting skills really shine. She sends Stewie to work in what looks suspiciously like a sweatshop. Round of applause for Mom of the Year, everybody.
Oh, damn. I say, I seem to have sewn a shoe to my hand. May I go to the nurse? Replace him!
Meanwhile, Joe's hot on their trail, chasing the Griffins through Chinatown in a rickshaw. When they flee into the sewers, Joe ups the ante by commandeering a police helicopter, only to be chased by TIE fighters. Because, of course, why not throw some Star Wars into the mix? Joe somehow manages to destroy the Imperial ships and continue his chase. Finally, Lois decides enough is enough and surrenders to face justice. But not before a daring rescue where she almost lets Joe go when he asks her to pretend he's one of her kids, and we can pretty much guess who she was thinking of when she did that.
Pretend I'm your child, Lois! Nutmeg! Nutmeg! Lois, you saved my life.
There you have it, folks. Lois managed to evade the law, and the Griffins return to their normal, chaotic lives. Just another day in Quahog. All right, buckle up, folks. In this episode titled Hot Shots, Lois falls deep into the anti-vax rabbit hole, because what else could go wrong in Quahog, right? It all kicks off with a bat invasion at the Griffin household. Yep, a rogue bat. And naturally, Peter decides the best way to handle this situation is to arm the bat with an arsenal of weapons. Because why not? It's not like that's going to backfire or anything.
Okay, so now the bat has a gun and the knives I gave him.
What? Why would you give him knives?
I didn't think it would matter.
Oh, Peter always making the best decisions. After this totally normal Tuesday, which ends up in Stewie getting his arm hurt, and the bat making it out alive, yay, the Griffins head to the doctor. And guess what? They learn Stewie needs to get vaccinated. Now the doctor hands Lois a pamphlet. And honestly, that was his first mistake. Give Lois any reading material, and she's immediately down the conspiracy theory. Rabbit hole faster than you can say Area 51. Even Dr. Hartman gets annoyed, and we don't blame him.
Hey man, how many questions your lady ask?
I don't know about this, Dr. Hartman. We might need a little bit of time to think this over.
Yeah, cut to 24 hours later, and Lois and Peter are now full-on anti-vaxxers. They're deep diving into every questionable corner of the internet. Seriously, they're like two Karens at a flat earth convention. And when Brian asks them for proof, well, let's just say their research comes straight from the book of Jenny McCarthy's greatest hits.
Look, Brian, I was skeptical too, but then I did some research, and I found some very interesting things from the leader of the anti-vaccination movement, Jenny McCarthy.
Very interesting.
See? Proof.
Oh yeah, Peter,
Very
because
interesting.
when I think credible source, I definitely think of Jenny McCarthy. Meanwhile, Stewie, our tiny evil genius, sees where this is heading and gives a little heads up to the audience. And by heads up, I mean he's practically begging us to change the channel.
Oh god, this is going to be a Lois story, isn't it? Game of Thrones is on, just a reminder.
As Lois and Peter set off on their mission to save Quahog from vaccines, Brian tells Stewie all the horrifying things that could happen to him without one. Maybe Brian should have taken a gentler approach. I mean, the kid's a wannabe supervillain, not a hardened war criminal.
Very serious. Even the tiniest germ could make you very ill and left untreated kill you.
Really? I'd expect this kind of thing from the fat man, but not Lois.
After their door-to-door campaign flops harder than a fish out of water, they dip into Meg's college fund to create an anti-vax TV ad. I mean, who needs education when you have YouTube and research, am I right? And in classic Peter fashion, he's the star of the ad as a doctor, whose medical expertise I'm beginning to seriously doubt after he gets a box of bones.
Ah, yes, those must be the bones and skulls. I see no boob bones. The victim was a man.
And wouldn't you know it? The gullible folks of Quahog start buying this nonsense, and suddenly vaccination rates are dropping fast. Meanwhile, Stewie's become a full-on germaphobe, which, let's be honest, is probably the most rational response to having Peter and Lois as parents. Peter, on the other hand, is walking around like he's just saved humanity. The level of delusion is honestly impressive. Fast forward, and we all saw this coming. The town gets quarantined. Honestly, we should have had a betting pool for this one.
People of Quahog, your town is under quarantine. Until further notice, no one may enter or leave the city.
Wow, who could have predicted that? Everyone. Lois finally realizes, oh no, maybe we shouldn't have believed everything we read on Facebook. But Peter, ever the curveball, drops a bombshell. Turns out, in a fit of misguided heroism, he destroyed every vaccine in town. You know, just for good measure. Because, sure, why not make things 10 times worse? But we have to admit, he did it in the best manner possible.
Well, it might be a little too late for that. They kind of destroyed all the vaccines in town.
Now, Peter and even Rupert somehow catch the measles. Yes, the teddy bear. Don't ask how. Family Guy logic. While Peter's down for the count, Lois is in full-blown panic mode looking for Stewie, who's run off to escape this mess. Parenting at its finest, folks.
Peter! Stewie's gone! I've looked everywhere!
Oh, Lois, I'm feeling a little better. I think I could keep down deviled eggs.
Stewie, in true Back to the Future fashion, runs into his future self. But instead of important life lessons or advice, future Stewie's just here to score some glue for a quick high. Because, sure, why not? To escape quarantine, Stewie tries swinging under a bridge like Spider-Man, but gets knocked off by an upside-down train and is miraculously saved by Sean Penn. You know, because apparently he had nothing better to do. Lois isn't too thrilled about Sean Penn's appearance. Those liberal Hollywood types, am I right? But hey, at least he brings the vaccines, and just like that, everyone's saved. Except for, you know, the 150 people who died. But don't worry, Lois shows the perfect amount of remorse, which is none.
Well, I'm just happy that Stewie is healthy, and only 150 people died, but not anyone we knew personally.
Another classic Family Guy episode where Lois once again makes it onto our list for worst moments. We're throwing it back to The Sun Also Draws, one of those early Family Guy episodes where everything is just one big fever dream. You know, back when the show was like that weird kid in class who ate paste and somehow made it work. So here we are following Chris. He's in the Scouts, but there's a plot twist. He can't stop drawing. And boy, do those Boy Scouts not approve. You'd think they'd be into creative activities, but nah, this ain't art camp. Meanwhile, Peter, doing his best impression of every clueless white dad in the 90s, just wants Chris to make him proud by earning some merit badges and being a normal scout. But Chris, bless his little cartoon heart, has other ideas. Ah yes, classic Peter, a comedic genius. Somebody get this man a Netflix special.
Dad, what would you say if I told you I didn't want to be in the Scouts?
I'd say, come again? And then I'd laugh because I said, come.
So, Chris turns to the only other person in the house who might give him some sensible advice, Meg. But let's be real, when has Meg ever given good advice? It's like asking advice from an extra in a teen drama. Just not gonna work out.
Ooh, what the hell?
Yeah, the Scouts are no fun, and oh, wait a minute.
Chris, I am going to stand up, walk out of this room, and we will never speak of this again.
I want to do that.
Chris gets
that
the boot
too.
from the Scouts faster than a failed contestant on Survivor, and Peter, ever the problem solver, decides they're going to New York to fix this. Yes, because nothing says reasonable parenting, like a spontaneous road trip to confront a national organization, and so the family is off on a road trip to the Scouts headquarters to get Chris back into the Scouts.
All right, you guys, we're off. Those Scouts are never gonna know what hit them.
Now, halfway through this epic road trip, Peter needs a pit stop for some number 2 business, and the countless billboards on the way clearly aren't helping distract him. And where do they end up? An Indian casino. I mean, why not? This is Family Guy logic, after all. At the casino, the family is excited to explore, but Peter has his priorities straight.
Oh boy!
Wow, an Indian casino!
Yeah, I gotta find me the
Indian
stink lodge.
casino. Oh,
And in true Lois fashion, she leaves the kids unattended in the lobby like she's competing for Mother of the Year. She then gets sucked into the slots and boom, she's hooked on gambling. Faster than you can say Vegas, baby. It's like Lois just binged a season of Breaking Bad and thought, yeah, but what if poker?
I didn't know you know how to play poker, Lois.
Yeah.
Well, how you doing?
Yeah.
That's good, honey. Let's go.
Yeah.
And just like that, Lois manages to lose the car to the casino. Who's shocked? Nobody. To get their ride back, Peter claims he's Indian, but surprise, the casino isn't buying it. No Jeep Grand Cherokee card here, Peter. Instead, they send him on a vision quest. You know, the classic spiritual journey to find yourself. But we're not sure Peter has the same idea of a vision quest in his mind.
Oh my God, Brian, there's a message in my alphabet. It says, ooh.
Peter, those are Cheerios.
Naturally, Lois decides the best move is to let Peter and Chris wander off into the woods like some off-brand Into the Wild. Lois might be hooked on the poker machines, but when it comes to basic parental responsibility, let's just say she's not exactly holding a full deck. Chris goes with Peter on this vision quest, and shocker, they actually bond. Peter finally listens to Chris's gripes about the Scouts. Father of the Year material, right here. The episode wraps up with Peter hallucinating from starvation, seeing the Fonz. Because when you're at rock bottom, who else but Henry Winkler can pull you out, right? Somehow, they get the car back, but it's Family Guy, so we just roll with it. Wow, what a journey. This could have been a wholesome episode about family bonding and growth if it weren't for Lois treating her duties like a deleted subplot from The Hangover. But hey, it's Family Guy, where responsible parenting goes to die. Cheers to that. Oh boy. Up next, we dive into an episode that's so memorable, we can't even be bothered to remember its name. Let's call it Lois's Big Blunder. Anyway, the Griffins are headed to Quagmire's cabin, which is filled with some unique features that just scream, yep, this is Glenn Quagmire's place.
Wow, Quagmire's got a nice place.
This is gonna be a relaxing weekend.
Oh, good form. And, yep, mechanical spreader, disco ball. Perfect. Oh, no.
The Griffin gang soon finds out that Glenn is actually in the cabin, doing classic Quagmire stuff. You know, things we'd rather not talk about, but also can't stop thinking about. It's Glenn. Are we even surprised at this point?
Hey, this the week you guys were coming out?
And after some wholesome cabin fun, they decide to go skinny dipping. Yep, the whole family jumps into the toxic lake with a clearly visible, large pipe dumping waste into it, only to come out looking like they've had 20 chemo sessions in a row. Brian finally spots the obvious cause. Something they should have noticed, like way before they decided to take the plunge.
I think it's a safe bet that that's responsible.
Our girl Lois is not happy. She marches up to Mayor Adam West and learns he's been letting folks dump toxic waste in the lake for some free oil. Classic West. And Lois, being the fiery redhead she is, decides to run against him in the next mayoral race. Oh, Lois, you sweet summer child, you have no idea what you're getting into.
Well, I am not gonna stand by while you let this town be destroyed by corruption. Mr. Mayor, I promise you this. Next election, I'm gonna run against you, and I'm gonna win.
Of course, Peter and his pals become Lois's biggest cheerleaders. Why? Because if she becomes mayor, they can basically get away with anything. Sounds like a solid plan.
You know, you bastards got a stake in this, too. I mean, Lois is my wife, and if she's the mayor, we can pretty much do whatever the hell we want.
But surprise, surprise. Lois's campaign hit some bumps. Turns out Mayor West knows a thing or two about politics. Who knew? While Lois is boring everyone to death with actual plans, West is out there with his wild card tactics, saying random words, throwing in some glitter. Classic politics, am I right? But Lois has some tricks up her sleeve as well, and by that we mean just 2 numbers.
Mrs. Griffin, what are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
9/11.
Mrs. Griffin, what about our traffic problem?
9/11.
And somehow this works. Because if there's one thing Quahog loves more than screwing itself over, it's screwing itself over twice. Lois wins the election, and the Griffins start living their best life, thinking they can just do whatever now. Spoiler alert. This doesn't go well. Fast forward, and Lois gets herself a taste of that sweet, sweet power. She starts with a tax hike, but when that fails, she turns to fear tactics. Classic political move. It actually works, and things start looking up. She even has some cash left over and buys a purse. Because, of course, she does.
I may have dipped into the tax surplus.
Wait a minute, you used taxpayer money to buy yourself a handbag?
It's no big deal, Brian.
Later, she's tempted by a $4,300 fur coat, because nothing says for the people like a fur coat. Bob Grossbeard, the local oil guy, offers to buy it for her if she lets him dump more gunk in the lake. She says yes, but has a last-minute change of heart, realizing she's become exactly what she was fighting against. Welcome to the club, Lois.
Politics does terrible things to good people.
Good for you, Lois. You wised up before it was too late.
I was so consumed by power and money, I became the very thing I set out to destroy.
That, folks, is why you don't let Lois Griffin run for mayor. Or maybe just don't swim in toxic lakes. Either way, lesson learned. Or not, it's Quahog after all. Coming in hot at numero uno, we have the episode Farmer Guy, where the Griffins go full Breaking Bad and get into the Empire business. That's right, folks, it's time for a little crime spree of their own. And no, it's not a pirated Netflix account, it's way worse. The episode kicks off with a special news bulletin announcing Quahog's rising crime rates. And in classic fashion, Tom Tucker makes it clear he's not having any of it. And who can blame him? That Infinity is pristine.
And just to put it out there, Tom Tucker is packing. I drive a 2006 Infinity and I don't intend to lose it.
Lois, always the skeptic, scoffs at the news, insisting she hasn't noticed any crime around her. Yeah, because when does she notice anything outside of her morning coffee? But just to snap her back to reality, we immediately see Glenn Quagmire getting mugged in broad daylight. Even the animals are in on it. And honestly, they're pulling it off with some serious style.
Give a warm Quahog Ocean Land welcome to Bojangles!
All the fish in the bucket now! Not one fish at a time as a reward, all of them!
The fish aren't the only thing getting stolen in Quahog. A few days later, the Griffins come home to find they've been robbed, losing their sense of security.
Right now, not one at a time.
Peter decides the solution is obvious. Buy a farm. He promptly sells their house on Craigslist because that's always the safest way to make real estate transactions, right?
Peter, where'd you even get the money to make that kind of purchase?
I sold the house, and I did it on Craigslist, so I also made a dangerous friend.
Oh, Craigslist, where you can find a new home, a used toaster, and a potential serial killer all in one place. Naturally, Brian is thrilled at the idea of moving to a farm. Can't you just feel his excitement?
Doesn't that sound wonderful, Brian? Are you ready to go to the nice farm?
No! No! You'll never take me alive!
Upon arrival, the Griffins begin adjusting to farm life. It's like Little House on the Prairie, except with more meth. Lois quickly breaks the news that they're hemorrhaging money faster than Peter's chugging moonshine. Apparently, they haven't grown a single crop to sell, and Peter's been spending their savings at both the general store and the specific store. That's what we call diversification.
Peter, I've been running the numbers on this farm, and we're in deep trouble. We haven't grown a single crop to sell. And meanwhile, you're spending half our money down at the general store and the other half at the specific store.
Brian, in a shocking display of commitment, offers to go to college to learn something valuable about farming. Yes, because when you're in a tight spot, sending that dog to college is always the best plan. But the plot thickens, or maybe that's just the meth fumes, as the family takes shelter from a tornado in their basement. And surprise, surprise, there's a fully operational meth lab down there, because of course there is.
Ah, sweet, it's some kind of lab. Hey, maybe it has one of those things that goes... Because that's important for science.
Lois wants to call the cops because she's apparently the only one who thinks making meth is not the best way to solve their financial woes. But Peter, ever the dreamer, decides they should go into business. Lois reluctantly agrees to make meth just long enough to get back on their feet. Yeah, sure, Lois, just like how people only eat one Pringle.
All right, Peter, we can make one meth, and that's it. And it's only because I don't see any other way out of it.
Because there's definitely a thing called one meth. Anyway, Peter, in a paranoid frenzy, devises a genius plan to deliver the meth using carrier pigeons. And I'm sure trusting birds with drug money never backfires.
Now this is the money I owe Peter. I want you to take it back to him. Do you understand?
That's real.
Soon, Brian returns to find the farm and the family completely unhinged. Everyone's down to their skivvies except Meg, who is conveniently unconscious.
What? Oh, yeah, we're meth dealers now.
Yeah, you missed it. My teeth came in and then fell out again.
Lois, realizing their little side hustle is destroying Quahog and their family's sanity, decides it's time to pack up and go home. Peter is initially hesitant, but then remembers the lab is on the verge of exploding. Eventually, they make it back to their old house, which they miraculously buy back after property values plummet during the crime wave. Because who wouldn't want to move back to the neighborhood where they just escaped a crime spree? And that, my friends, is why Farmer Guy takes the top spot on our list. Meth lab explosions, talking dogs going to college, and carrier pigeon drug mules. This episode has it all.
And it has meth. And studies show that that stuff is always... Yeah, we're going to edit that out. Don't do meth. Horrible for your skin complexion and your teeth.